going to put new padding in this Volkswagen seat. You can see in the center it's pretty soft. The edges are still firm, but the center is kind of saggy. I redid that one, and you can see I put extra padding in that. You can see how it's really fluffed up, and you feel it's really firm. This one I'm going to do next, and it's kind of saggy. The first thing you have to do is basically just, you can see there's a spring right there, and there's a knob. You just use that adjusting knob like you're going to slide it forward, but just keep sliding it all the way off. Let the spring disengage, and the seat comes all the way forward and comes out. Put it all the way forward. Now I can just lift it out of there. I've got it out and in the shop. Next I'm going to have to take out, there's a little nut on each side that holds this back rest up, so I can get that off. With those off, there's kind of a trick. You just pry this out over the stud, but then you also have to lean the seat back so that these bars come out in this skinny part right here. I'll show you how to do that. See how you can lean the seat back, and then it'll just slide backwards and go off of that, go back through that skinny part. One consideration when you're restuffing this is you don't want this section to be too high, because the seat back comes up when you lean it forward, and it kind of moves across this section right here. If it's pumped up too high, then it'll hang up the seat back when you're trying to pull it forward. Don't ask me how I know. All right, I've got it turned upside down, and as you can see, the way that this is held on, there's these sharp hooks, and they're welded onto the frame all the way around. What they do is they engage, there's a stiff wire that runs through this upholstery, and so these loop over those sharp hooks and hold in there. What you have to do is go around, you can see them here, you have to bend them up and over a little bit so you can get that wire off of them. And they're super sharp, and they will tear you up. Again, don't ask me how I know, but you've got them, you can see them along here in the front, and then you've got them along here in the side. So I'm just going to pry those up and then lift the upholstery off them. There are probably a lot of ways to do this, but what I do is I take a pair of needle nose pliers, I get them in like this, and then when I twist it, it slowly, you can see it slowly starts to bend them up. So I use it kind of a twisting fashion like that. At least with mine, there's also, the wire comes out here, and you can see it's twisted around this. So that's got to be done on each side in the back. I'm going to recommend, if you got a good pair of gloves, use them to keep from getting torn up. I'm just going to demonstrate on this one. What I do is I put one side behind there, and then I just go like this and just lift it up. And once it's straight up, or a little past straight up, then you can get the upholstery off of it. I'll show you on this one too. So I'm just going to twist it like this, and it gets about straight up. Looks like that one busted off, which that's one of the dangers of these. When you've got them all bent up and you've got the upholstery lifted off of them, then you can just go around, you can see it'll just come down off of here all the way around, and you can lift it off. You can see over on this side, I've got this wire that goes through here, but you get, like, I got this one off on this side, and then the whole thing will start to come off of there like this. All right, I got that padding off. It's upside down there. You can see it took some of this horsehair with it. So the original pad in the VW was this horsehair stuff. What happens is these springs press on it, break it down, and break through. And you can see here, the sections of it are completely gone. But what happens, at least for mine, the outer edge is really firm still. I don't know if you can see this, but this part that holds the edge of the thing is really nice. What's happened is it's just gone in the middle. And so what I'm gonna do is use new materials to fill in the middle, but continue to use this because it provides a good solid edge all the way around. for the seat and just reinforce the middle again. This is what the bottom of the pad looks like. And so you can see that these edges are really firm and nice. And you can see how this stuff is just completely destroyed by those springs. As far as the seat frame goes, it's definitely seen better days, but it's not bad. You can see they have really heavy springs around the edges, and those still have a lot of stiffness to them. These ones in the middle are very light springs, and so they smash down really easily, but they're all still pretty much there. And so I think I can rebuild the padding and it'll still be serviceable. This is what I have to do it with. I bought this, which is replacement seat foam. So this is going to be my top layer, and you can see it's probably, I don't know, an inch thick or so. So it's going to add about an inch of new cushion to it. But I also have, and this is an EMPI part, so you can get these seat foam replacements a lot of places. When I got mine at J-Bugs, they also sold this heavy felt. And so what I did is I've cut this into some squares. And my plan is to take a couple of layers of this, and I cut it such that it will fit in here. And you can see I don't really need the felt so much around the heavy springs. I really need it in this center section here where the springs want to tear into the padding. And so I'm going to put a couple of layers in there. I think I'm going to trim this just a little bit. I have to be careful how much I build it up in the back, but this is also an area where the springs are soft. So I'm going to put a couple of layers there to keep the springs from tearing up more of that horsehair stuff. Then maybe a layer on top of the horsehair, and then put the foam on top of that. I've got the horsehair back on the frame, horsehair pad, and you can see how that double felt pad is underneath of there, pretty much where the soft springs are. And so it's helping to fill in that middle section that's worn away, but leaving me the outer edges to give the contour to the seat. This is what it looks like from the top with the horsehair pad on there. You can see these felt layers are in here, and you can see it's kind of like filled in the center. It's all, instead of sagging down, it's all sitting up. So what I was planning on doing was putting one more layer of that on there, and then I have a little bigger layer that I can lay on here, and it extends more toward the front, so I get at least one layer near the front. These others are in the back, but I'm afraid of getting too much padding in there. I'm considering that, or maybe just this one layer here with the foam. I'll try putting the foam on top of that and see what it looks like. This is what it looks like with the new foam layer on top of it. What I did is I just used the one large layer underneath. It goes pretty much up to the front. On the other seat that I did, I used two more layers in the center of it. These two right here. And I have to say, it filled it in, but it's so high, the back hits it when you move it forward, and it's a really tight fit. I mean, it strained the upholstery pretty good getting it on there. So I think I'm gonna leave these two off because I don't need that much extra height on the seat. My wife wanted it to be able to sit up a little higher for her. So I'm gonna try this for my side, for the driver's side, and see how that goes. But if you see from here, the center of it doesn't feel nearly as saggy as it did before. You can just push it straight down. So that gives 3 layers of felt and the layer of new foam to it. I've got the seat cover around most of it, and now I've got to pull it up and hook it on back onto these hooks and see if I can get it to fit right. My trick for that is to just place a board across the seat frame, and then what I do is sit on that, put my weight on it, compress the springs, and then fit the upholstery up over those hooks and bend them down. This is me with my weight on there. You can see as I put my weight on, it springs down, and this actually pulls up and will fit over these easy enough that I can get them on there and tighten them up. So having the weight on there, it really helps in getting it in place. This is what it looks like with my weight off of it. And you can see I bent these back enough to hold it into place. Then I'm going to go around and do the rest of them, make sure everything looks good, and then I'll bend them all the way flat. You can see I've got these hooks bent back over. As long as you make sure that that wire is on the back side of the hook, like right here. Sometimes that wire works its way up and you just hook cloth. But you can see these hooks grab the wire and they hold it in each instance. And that's what holds it on. So this is what it looks like from underneath. Okay, I got it hooked all the way around the bottom, and you can see it retains the right shape, and then in the middle, it is crowned. And when you sit on it, it feels much more firm. It's probably going to interfere with the back a little bit, but I did use 2 less layers than I did on the other seat. That one was really tight, but this one I think has a nice firm feel. Remember before it was saggy. Now it's very firm in the center. With that new foam, I think it's going to be nice and comfortable. Got the back on, and now I just need to put these brackets over the stud and put the nuts back on, and the back will be on again. I've got it on and I tried it. The back actually moves up the way it's supposed to. It's a little more snug, but not bad, so it's definitely working. Ready to put it back in. I just need to vacuum up all this horsehair that's left underneath the seat before I do. Okay, it's in there and it feels pretty firm. I want to check this. This moves up and back the way that it's supposed to, so that works, and it's sure a lot nicer than it was.